All right, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to my channel. This is You Too Can Be Great. I just did my review for Candy and the Old Lady Gang. Go ahead and check that out. I'm going to be doing the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. When Marriage Weekend comes, I'm going to do it. When Real Housewives of Atlanta comes, I'm going to do it. I have several shows that I'm going to start looking into. I'm going to be reviewing. And also, I want you guys to go ahead and check out my handle. I did start a new channel that's going to be just based on information. Some of the stuff that y'all might not know is going around in the world. I'm going to make that channel that because I don't want to blend it in with this one, because YouTube might flag some of the shit I'm talking about may not be maybe too sensitive for some of you guys to actually hear. So I'm going to go ahead and shift that, but I'm going to put the link inside the description box for you guys to go and subscribe and follow me there, because I do have to have enough to grow the channel and to get the information I need to get out there. Okay. With that said, let's do Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion part 2, addressing the garbage whore. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about that mess. So it starts off where it left. They're talking to Lisa about her party, or the little fundraising thing that she did on behalf of foster youth, I think about it. And she had her son, Jack and Henry, as the people who were the event planners and people who invited people from that board to go ahead and support her. But she also invited Whitney instead of Jen, because Jen had pissed her off and cussed her out about some messy thing she was trying to do with her children, supposedly on the phone. Why would you have your phone on speaker while somebody's cussing you out for your children to hear? Like, what the fuck kind of shit is that, Lisa? You sound dumb. But they're now addressing that fact and also addressing why Meredith was there. And Lisa would conveniently, because she's unhappy about Meredith's support of Mary, had her introduced to the guy named Cameron, who has passed on, God rest his soul, but has a rumor going around that he allegedly had an affair with Mary Magdalene, the church, you know, while she was trying to give some money to the church as well. And that she broke his heart because she used him because he was younger than her. She was basically Mrs. Robinson robbing the cradle while his ass was robbing the grave, is what he was trying to say. Like the way that Mary and her husband did, her grandfather started dating her. The age gap is different. Then you got now she's apparently preying on somebody younger. I don't know what they were trying to insinuate, but Meredith is now brought face to face with this person who's alleging that this is what occurred between him and this woman from this church. Okay, this church lady supposed to be sanctified is out here, spreading her legs and spreading it wide and, spread ego to some guy that she felt was, young enough to go ahead and rock her world, because her husband ain't doing, her grandfather wouldn't give her nothing. Then we had, Lisa basically saying that she loves Jen, even though she didn't invite her there, even though Jen is a controversial person to love. And Jen finally checks that shit. You're not about to tell me that you love me, but even though it's hard to love me. Excuse me? If it's hard to love me, don't love me at all. I don't like people like that. I don't like people who say stuff like that. If you're my friend, be my friend. Yes, there are times when things are going to be bad. Yes, there are times when I might do something wrong, or you may be upset at me, or I don't know. Nobody's perfect on this earth. But if we're genuinely building a friendship and you don't have to tell me that you love me, but with some parameters, like, oh my gosh, I love this person, but we're not talking about Hitler, child. That I personally would be hard to love. Me? Knock it off. So Jen actually spoke that and told Lisa, like, I don't know why you think I'm the one that's hard to love when you're the one that's a shit starter, basically, bitch. So she cleared that up. And Lisa is basically in the hot seat this entire reunion. She's in the hot seat, and Heather and Whitney's little pot stirring ass are in the corner making the situation worse. Jeannie's presence is irrelevant to me. I don't know why her ass is here. I don't know her point. I don't get her presence. I don't understand her purpose. I think Lisa Barlow may have brought her into the show, but she's useless. Bring her off, take her off. I know they have since removed her because her little racist stuff that she was doing during the protests and stuff like that. But here, last episode or last reunion, I was sitting there listening to her say, well, Mary and I are both minorities. We're supposed to support each other. And all that kept clicking in my head is this bitch should not just go on Facebook say, well, Black Lives Matter. They're breaking stuff. They're doing all this stuff. They're damaging property. If you don't want to get in trouble or you don't want to get shot by police, why don't you just obey the law? How about you tell the parents that the parents are the ones that she was saying a whole lot of ignorant stuff with her just running her mouth, talking about I grew up in Long Beach. You sure didn't grow up in Long Beach, because you wouldn't understand. Long Beach is full of a bunch of minorities and gang violence. You would have understood some of the stuff that happens there that are wrong and some that happens that are unfair. You don't know shit. You took your little titled ass to Utah, forgot, and just started showing your ass while you're there, while your husband looking for a sister wife. You know what? Felt sorry for her with that sister wife crap storyline that she told. But you know what? He needs to go ahead and find himself a sister wife. Maybe she'll be nicer than you. Then we have them addressing Lisa's lie on the bus where Meredith wasn't there and Jen was supposed to be arrested. The FBI, Homeland Security, everybody but God came to take her in. And Lisa had called Meredith to let her know, in addition to her lawyer, to make sure it doesn't affect her and her business, that Jen was just arrested, or people just came looking for her. I think she wasn't arrested, they were looking for her. And Meredith, she said, oh my gosh, I'm bothering you, go be with your family. On the other line, which we didn't hear, she said that Meredith told her, I'm at my father's memorial, because Lisa now got on the phone and said, oh my gosh, I just interrupted her memorial, I feel bad. Meredith now addressed it, said, I wasn't even there. I didn't say that to you. I wasn't even there. So I don't know why you would even say that out loud. Lisa's saying Meredith did tell her that. At this point, we don't know who to confirm is telling the truth or not. I would side with Meredith more than Lisa at this point, because Lisa lies too much. But there's no way we could hear what Meredith said at the end of the line. But Meredith is gradually building a case, because Lisa went all out, calling her a garbage whore, saying her husband doesn't have a job, saying that they're posing, her family's posing, that they can't afford a house, all this nonsense thing that she just attack the camera with her words, just nasty person you don't want to tell your secrets to as a friend, because she's the friend that'll get mad at you and spread your business, lie or truth. So, but Lisa did it on the grounds that Meredith wasn't having her back. So Meredith is gradually building a case and pointing out moments where she was having her back, and Lisa did not acknowledge it or appreciate it or even wasn't aware of it. One of them being when Whitney accused Lisa of sabotaging the caterers for one of Whitney's long lost relatives, because she does not like Whitney. She was crying about it, making a scene, and I remember Meredith being the one to support her in that event as well. So Meredith is gradually throwing out her case to make sure that by the time she reads this bitch, she already put her proof out there for us to see. Meredith is very intelligent. She knows exactly what she's doing. Then we have back on the set, we talk about Heather's body shaming, that Mary basically, because when Mary gets angry, Mary talks out of her ass. She says things that could be racist. Oh, she reminds me of those Mexicans that make drugs, and stuff like that, like the cartel. Or she'll say something like, I don't want to go around gas stations where there's a bunch of black people. I just don't want to. It's scary. Or, I love your slanted eyes. Or there's nothing wrong with slanted eyes. Or in this case, Heather's fat. There are things that she says that are not, you should sit out of anger, and you always wonder, a drunk mind speaks the truth, an angry mind may speak some truth too. So they address it, and Heather just basically said, you know what, I'm not going to touch that. But Andy asked everybody why you didn't attack her for body shaming Heather, and they said they just didn't want to, light fuel to the fire. No, you guys were all afraid to address Mary, because Mary reads people very well. She's not the type of person you can approach and just say bullshit to. She will stop you in your tracks and have you go back all that way. Don't approach me with some mess type thing. So they're afraid to approach her. So they just let her body shame Heather. But Heather is a freaking shit starter. So hell, maybe she just go ahead and allow this body shaming. I'm just saying. Then we have them asking if Mary's church is a cult. And some people say, yeah, it's kind of cultish. It looks cultish. It behaves cultish. It's in Utah. Utah has a lot of cult-like. I thought my baby was awake. Utah has a lot of cult-like churches. I mean, it's the home of Mormonism. So, I mean, it makes sense that Mary may have gone there, started her church, and blended right in. I mean, there's churches everywhere. So it makes sense for her to start it there. But they asked Jen. Jen said, yes, I went there. And they were kind of glorifying her, making her, the whole Mother's Day event was just for her. All the other mothers didn't freaking matter. So it may seem like they're, worshiping her or something. And Whitney says, well, I didn't think so initially, but now I do based on the gossip I'm hearing, because now I don't like Mary's ass. And somebody said, I forgot who said, well, every church kind of is like a cult. Not the one I go to. Shit, you got me fucked up. Anybody but no. Then we have the subject of Cameron and Mary's church coming in, where Lisa had told everybody that Cameron mortgaged his house and gave $300,000 to the church. And Lisa here is cutting yet another lie, because Mary said that shit ain't happened. And Meredith said, did this happen? And Lisa said, yes, it did. And Meredith said, no, you flat out told me that did not happen. He did not give that amount. So Lisa's like, well, I'm not sure which exactly amount he gave. Meredith said he gave 10%. And that's basically the same thing that Mary told her, which I would understand more than 300,000, because 10% is the same thing that the Bible says about giving your tithe. You tithe 10% of whatever it is that you have, or whatever it is that you earn. 10% makes more sense than saying he gave her a whole $300,000. But the point of it is Lisa was spreading this lie, but she didn't clarify. And when everybody else was just jumping on the bandwagon, Heather, Whitney, all these people that she was spreading this rumor to, she didn't correct it, but she corrected it with Meredith and just allowed them to think that. Then she don't walk her ass upstairs to where Mary was in her room and blame everything on Whitney. Lisa, you do come off very two-faced, and it's true. Jen said the same thing to Lisa. Mary said the same thing. Lisa don't know how to fucking real. Lisa has a persona that she tries to perpetuate because she has money, that she's this goody, she's this sweet person, she's this and that. But Lisa's the type of person that acts like she cares, but everything you're saying to her doesn't resonate. You can be crying in front of her, you can feel some type of way in front of her, but if it doesn't benefit her, she's just basically, no, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, it sounds so horrible. Oh my gosh, I love you for that. But the next day, she'll remember nothing. Later on, we find out that when Heather's dad passed away, she sent a message, not even when the person was already dead, talking about, I hope he's okay, or something like that. Lisa does not care about anybody but herself. And a scene where Heather said, I feel for you. Instead of saying thank you, she said, yeah, I feel for me too. Lisa has a lot of self-centered, selfish tendencies where she's only able to consider her emotions and want everybody else to basically look at her as someone who's, you know, this put together well person, that she doesn't want to show any flaw. And her effort trying not to show any flaw is making her come off as somebody who's just a big fat liar. And she's really, you know, she's really feeding into that persona, that category. She's behaving the way that everybody's assuming that she is. Then we have, let's see, we have Meredith's relationship with Mary, and Lisa's, Mary kept coming up, and Lisa's jealous rage rant now comes up. Meaning you also the last, I think it was the Last Supper that they were having, one of the last episodes, second to last episode. Mary was going after Jenny because she couldn't stand Jenny, and she basically saw what we all didn't see before we saw Jenny's messages on Facebook. And Meredith was not really checking Mary because Mary was going off on all of them. She told Heather, I don't know why you're bringing husbands because you don't even have one. She completely dismissed Whitney because Whitney has a way of wanting to talk to you when she's drunk. Nobody wants to talk to a drunk person all the fucking time. Then Jeannie has so big issue with Mary not liking her. Bitch, she don't like you. She don't have to like you. Nobody has to like you. Hell, I'm watching you. I don't know if I can like you. So while that was happening, Meredith did not say anything. And then when Lisa and Mary started going at it, and Mary was calling Lisa out for being fake, for, you know, spreading false rumors and being a liar, Meredith, who's already feeling some type of way, as she explained, did not support her in that regard. She's not getting between a fight between Mary and Lisa. That's not happening when she's befriending both of them, number one. Number two, she made it clear that 3 days before her father passed away, she sent a message to Lisa expressing her hurt, expressing her pain, expressing her heartbreak about her father approaching the point where he's leaving this earth and she's not going to see him until she passes away herself, maybe in spirit. And Lisa was too busy trying to figure out how to be Jen's friend that she forgot that this is not, because Lisa is going based on what she thinks is important to her. She's not really taking the time to get out of herself and consider somebody else, especially when a friend is expressing to you their pain. So Meredith said, this is what you said to me after I expressed that all to you. And that's after she built her case, showing different incidences when she supported her. Lisa called her a garbage whore. She talked about her husband. She talked about her kids. She talked about them not owning a home. She talked about their finances. She went all the way out. And Andy here reads it verbatim with his messy ass. And I'm just like, oh my God, why would you do that, Andy? But Andy's here to put up a show, and he may not like Lisa Barlow. Andy did say that there were a couple people he did not like in Real Housewives franchise. I assume NeNe's one of them, because NeNe already called his ass racist. But I know, I low-key feel like Lisa Barlow might be one of them as well, because she seems disingenuous. So now that she's apologizing, of course, Heather and Whitney's ass are in the corner instigating even more. Heather's like, you're just sorry because you got caught. And she's like, I'm not sorry I got caught. Well, yes, you are, bitch, because you keep saying that I was ranting in the privacy of my room. I didn't know it was mic'd. So technically, you didn't want to get caught. You wanted to talk shit in private and not be caught, but you had the camera on, so the camera did catch you. So, I mean, technically, you are sorry that you got caught. That's just what it is. Then you have Whitney saying, you know, if the pot's there, stir it. So, you know, Whitney's seen the show, and she's seen a lot of incidences where Lisa will go have a conversation with Whitney and then go to other people and make it seem like Whitney was the one who said all the shit and she wasn't even involved. And everybody go and attack Whitney for it, right? So we're in the reunion. So she's like, if the pot stirs, stir it. You need to go and ask somebody, Meredith, what Lisa had said, because Lisa, all the stuff that she said, which Andy said, it sounds like it was like a dump of what you initially think about your friend. She's a hoe. She's fucked all of New York. Her husband doesn't have a job. They're posers. They can't buy. I mean, all the stuff that she said, it came from somewhere, and it seems like it's how you really feel. She goes, no, it's not how I really feel. I was just upset about all the things that I thought Meredith was doing for me that she just confirmed that she didn't do. So I just said all this nonsense because, you know, that's how I didn't really mean it. I'm so sorry. I really don't know what to say. And Whitney says, yes, she said all this stuff prior to her being this upset and saying it out loud. She's mentioned it to other people out loud off camera. Call this person. And she specifically named the name. And Meredith said, okay, I do not think that Meredith and Lisa's friendship will ever come back from this. There is no way on this God's green earth my friend of 10 years would go and call me a garbage whore, use all the incidences that have confided in her in relationships that I had when my husband and I took a break and went our separate ways, and now called me a whore, said I fucked all of New York, then called my family posers, then talk about my children, then talk about how we're not able to afford a house. All the stuff that I may have talked to you about in my hour of need, or just talking to you as a friend, you are now using it to weaponizing it and calling me out as if I did something to you because you're unhappy about me befriending somebody that's mean to you. Lisa showed her true colors, and she's crying talking about, that's who they're gonna think that's who I am, that's who you are. Well, this is who you are. This is how you behave when you are angry. You know, just like drunk people, when they say how they feel, this is wrong. So we have Meredith now addressing the situation, Whitney adding more fuel to the fire, Heather going ahead and pouring it on it. And Lisa, of course, is like, you're going to say whatever the hell you want to say to me that's bad, Heather, because you don't like me. But then she asked Heather, why did you support me was it when they went to the Mother's Day trip, where Heather was saying, I feel for you? Heather is also a manipulative little liar, because Heather tells Lisa, I'm here for you, I'm trying to help you, and da-da-da-da-da. But from the very first season, when Lisa dismissed Heather and pretended like she didn't know who she was, Heather was out to get her. That is this guaranteed fact. Heather made her target, just like Whitney is. And these mean girls, these bitches are crazy, because they have a way of sitting in front of you and seeming genuine, like they care about your feelings, but then turn around and stab you in the back. Because Heather's now sitting up here gaslighting her. I wanted to sit here, and I thought that maybe I could feel for you because I remember I was in this situation before, and da-da-da-da. I was like, Heather, shut the hell up. All this little speech that you're giving is not landing with me. You're fake as hell. And Lisa needs to start opening her eyes and realize that Heather and Whitney would never like her. She burnt that bridge. And here's Jen, who's also going off on her, because Jen also saw her not pick up her phone call or call her back when she got arrested like a real friend would, ignoring her at her weakest, because Lisa is the person that I'll get back at you when you hurt me, but in a way that's worse than you have ever done. So she's in the hot seat. She starts crying. She breaks down. She says people are always trying to come at her all the time. I said, well, if you didn't do half this shit, nobody's gonna come at you. It's on tape. Well, you did all this stuff. I mean, hell, you and Jenny are meant to be friends, because Jenny's ass is the same stupid shit that you do. Then we have Meredith. They take a break. Lisa goes up to Meredith trying to explain that why she did what she did when everybody had already left the set. And I'm listening to her. First, she said, oh, it's because all these things piled up because I felt like Meredith wasn't supporting me. And I felt like Meredith felt some type of way and was pushing me away because I was trying to befriend Jen. And Meredith does not like Jen because of how Jen treated Brooks. That was her initial approach. Now she's sitting here telling Meredith that the reason why she behaved the way she behaved is because somebody called her and told her that Meredith said she don't like her house. So Meredith saying that your house is not nice or it's not a decent property is enough for you to say all of this. Girl, Lisa, you're lying. You're not being sincere. You're not being honest. If you would have just said, I was jealous of Meredith and Mary's relationship because I felt like Meredith has not had the same length of friendship as I've had with her. And why would she be defending Mary and not me? It made me feel a certain way. So I went off. Instead, you're grasping at straws and trying to find whatever it is you think that will give Meredith whatever reason to forgive you in your stupidity. Meredith is not going to let this go. She ain't stupid. She will never trust Lisa Barlow with anything. Once you cross her, you've crossed her. Jen crossed her. She ain't never gonna go. She's not gonna let her in. And Lisa crossed her. She's not gonna let her in. It's just simple as that. Then we have them coming back, and Lisa saying that she was gonna give Lisa advice. Whitney saying she's gonna give Lisa advice to shut up in moments like this. Ultimately, we get to this particular reunion where they're just basically dealing with that rant. I don't think that this reunion should have been as long as it was. I don't think it should have been 3 parts. I think we should have been able to get through everything in about maybe 2 maximum. Jeannie's presence is useless. She doesn't need to be talked about. Mary, if Mary was there and her and Jeannie can go at it, then maybe that would make more sense, because Mary and Jeannie were the ones that had problems. She was trying to pick at Mary to have a storyline, and Mary just wasn't giving it to her, and she just threw a glass at her. Then we have Meredith and Lisa, who also have their own issues, and Meredith and Mary, who have their own storyline going. Then you got Whitney and Lisa, who were trying to build this fake friendship, and Whitney and Mary, who were having their own issues, and Whitney not liking Mary, and basically insinuating that Mary and Cameron were having an affair this whole time, and that's what she believes. And though Cameron is passed on from a brain tumor and is not even here to defend himself. You got Heather, who plants seeds in every single person's ear on what she wants them to do and how she wants them to behave. Then on the flip side, you got Jen, who's fighting this case and looks so guilty with everything, but saying that she's not. So we're just waiting for the results to come out. So we know if she's telling the truth or not. So that's what's going around. But Mary should have been here in this reunion to make it a lot better. This reunion did not need to be 3 parts. I'm sorry. But this episode was very informative, and we got a lot of facts as opposed to fiction and Lisa Barlow's assumptions. Okay, so that was this review. Go ahead and have a good rest of your day. Make sure you check out in the description box the handle to the new channel, and go ahead and subscribe. You guys have a good day. I'll see you next time.